Take two. All right. I just did a big 5-minute intro, not realizing we were live. Hi, I'm Joshua Waldrop. Welcome to Ultima Comics Indiegogo launch live stream. I'm the editor in chief and publisher of Ultima Comics. I'm going to speed run through everything I just said real quick so we can get all of our lovely guests on with us. Ultima Comics conceived in 2020, right before the pandemic. 2021 San Diego Special Edition. We launched with a booth and a panel. Three-headed arm of Ultima Comics. We're looking to do publishing for independent comics, consulting, leveraging our network of industry professionals and friends that we've made over the last 20 plus years to help independent creators get their project over the hump, whether it's editing, finding an artist, script doctoring, you name it. We got people that can help out. And then also distribution, building out our own in-house distribution network, partnering with direct comic book stores, hobby stores, outlets that want to help support independent creators. So we're really excited about all that. Launched in 2021. Last year, we presented our preview comic showcasing what we had in store for the first four, the founding four titles of Ultima Comics. And now this past year at San Diego Comic-Con, we were able to come in hand with number ones printed and ready to go, full issues, complete, to be able to show kind of what the Ultima Comics army is up to. And now we are turning to you, launching an Indiegogo campaign in hopes that you can help us out with some funds to not only be able to help us print these comics on a wider scale, put some funds back into the pockets of the incredibly talented artists and creators that help put these books together, and also get them distributed, get them into the hands of people like you who might want to help support independent creators, independent comic book artists, and read what we have going on. So, with no further ado, we have a party going on here, a bevy of wonderful guests, all who have contributed creatively to the projects here at Ultima Comics. I'm going to bring them on the screen. First and foremost, my main man, Francis Jaskowski, the creator of
I do the thing where you're like,
yeah, of course. That's what it's for. We're all pimping ourselves
I'm
out.
also wearing the original. This is the original shirt from like what 2014, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna get into the epic story of the road that led us here.
Oh, apparently I've got the ring going on behind me.
You do.
I've got the ring going on. Yeah, don't stare at. Don't look at it. Don't. If you get a call about 7 days, don't worry about it. Anyway.
Yeah.
Sure. So hi, Josh. What's going on? Party.
Hi. How's it going?
Going all right.
What did I do?
I'm Francis Jaskowski. What do you want to say? I am the creator of the. Well, first, there we go. The number one right here, the Massacre Twins. Of course, Josh was my co-writer. Camry Lapka, who we'll talk to later, was the artist, and she's an extremely talented artist at that.
She is the artist.
I got to put it over, but yeah. So this has been basically a project that's been going on since what, God, 20. It started. The concept started 2010. Yes. After Comic-Con, I started one day writing and just kept going.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, how do you do this? Like questions?
Well, what we're going to do is bring everyone in first off. So, you mentioned the illustrious artist Camry Lapka, who is joining us from Oregon. Camry, how goes it?
Hey, I'm actually from Washington, but
Washington, my bad.
No, you're
Hi, Cam.
I'm one of those.
Hi.
I'm one of those California boys where
this is a very
California.
Sorry, this is a very historic moment. This is the first time I've ever talked to Camry like over an audio or anything. It's been mostly been through text, like a chat, text, that kind of thing.
I think it's the first time for all of us of really chatting over audio. So.
Yeah, technology. First time actually making the acquaintance, which is great. Camry, just to let you know, your volume is a little low. I don't know if you're able to turn your mic volume up a little bit. While she's doing that, look at some of this incredible work.
Brimstone
of Camry.
Our first villain.
Crushed.
How's that? Is that better for you guys?
That is a little bit better, yes.
Okay.
The amazing art of Camry Lapka. Camry was working on some other projects when we were looking for an artist for the Massacre Twins. We'd had several artists, starting with Kristen King, who was the concept artist who initially brought the Massacre Twins to life. And then Rachel Picard, who is the designer of the logo for the Massacre Twins, and also was the artist for the first little one-sheet promotional comics that we'll talk about here in a minute that we handed out at San Diego Comic-Con for a handful of years before we got Camry coming on to right the ship, so to speak, and get us over the finish line. Camry, you've done such an amazing job with this book. I just absolutely can't tell you how thrilled we are.
Oh, thank you guys. I'm super happy to be working on it. It's a ton of fun. I really enjoy the characters, and yeah, overall, it's a great experience, and I'm super happy to be working with you guys.
Oh man, that's awesome. More to come for sure.
Definitely.
Coming to join the party right now. Also, longtime friend of ours and a longtime industry vet, an incredible writer, incredible creative who has come on with Ultima. I mentioned the consulting arm as an associate editor to help us out with editing duties and helping people get their book ship shape. Mr. Anthony Ray Bench.
How's it going, everybody?
Hey, Anthony.
Nice shirt, Anthony. Nice shirt. Mine was
Can
all
you guys
dirty.
hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you great.
Awesome.
Tremendous. Of course, I mentioned at the beginning of this kickoff that the conception of Ultima Comics started just before the pandemic. And really, if we trace the lineage all the way back to me getting into comics in the first place, going to Comic-Con in the first place, none of it happens without my creative guru and the project manager, so to speak. I mean, he helped us put all the books together, and extraordinary letterer who is all over an insane amount of comics, including comics for Image and Shadowline, Mr. Todd Tachioka.
Hey, Todd.
What's going on, you guys?
How goes, man?
All right. How's this sound? Okay.
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay, cool.
So
Awesome.
we introduced you a little bit to the Massacre Twins here. We're going to talk more about that. The other number one that we had printed that we took to Comic-Con this past year was a story that had been percolating in the back of my head for a little bit, but didn't really come to life until recently, till last year, really. Jaundice. And Jaundice went from being a concept and an idea to this amazing story with this incredible artwork due to the talent of Mr. Chris Faison. Chris,
Hey, y'all.
welcome to the live stream.
Hey, Chris.
Here.
Arting, lettering, the whole shebang. Chris Faison, a one-man art machine. Also, check out that wicked logo. That wicked logo for Jaundice, created by a guy who not only makes insane logos, but is immensely creative in his own right. Has several books that he's published, and also provided a variant cover for one of the titles that we'll talk about with Todd, Meat Farm, Mr. Winston Gambro.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming, Winston. Appreciate you all joining us. This is a fun time. The first time we've had kind of all the key creators all in one spot at one time. It's super exciting. All right, so as I mentioned, Ultima Comics starts back in well, actually, if you want to really trace it back, Ultima Comics starts back in the year 2000, when I'm working for a local independent professional wrestling company called Ultimate Pro Wrestling, UPW. Any of you who are wrestling fans may recognize the name from being the place that started guys like John Cena, The Miz, Victoria. So many. Oh, hey, how about that? John's watching. And that is where I met Todd Tachioka. Hey,
Oh,
there
wow.
we go.
Oh, wow.
Old school.
I have it somewhere.
That's
I have the misspelled shirt, the Too Tough to Die one we had for UPW. I have it somewhere in my
Where
closet.
Look at that Duff man. Oh my God, it's Francis. Somebody marking out for Francis. That's awesome.
Wow.
That's awesome. Whole effing show 13. I know UPW. I'm going to guess that's the longtime supporter Bryce Hambarian. I'm not sure. Reveal yourself.
I think it is.
So I lost that shirt. Yeah, that's Bryce. Bryce says he lost the shirt. Okay, awesome. So it was while at UPW that I meet Todd, who's worked in comics for many, many years. We'll get you to talk a little bit about your origin story for a second, Todd. But as a kid, I didn't really get into the whole superhero comics that much. I got into the cartoons, the X-Men, the Spider-Man, stuff like that. I didn't really get into all of the comics because it just felt overwhelming. I'd go to the comic shop and there'd be 4 or 5 or 6 different titles of one character, and I didn't know where to start. I didn't know where to jump in, so I kind of gravitated to the cartoons, and also the superhero comics just never really grabbed me. Superman, I'm gonna get heat for this. Superman was always kind of a cop out character to me. I get the moral implications of it, but I know. But Superman to me always felt like when you were a kid, when you were outside playing and you're like, I'm shooting you with my ray gun, and then your friend goes, they put up a force field, like nothing could ever, hurt him. Although I think that's why I gravitated more towards Marvel characters like Spider-Man, whatnot, flawed characters, imperfect. Just identified with them more. But I met Todd at UPW, and Todd got me turned on to independent comics, which I had found stumbling through comic shops here and there, comics from Chaos Comics and some other independent comics that really grabbed my attention. But it wasn't until Todd dropped Johnny the Homicidal Maniac and Kabuki Circle of Blood in my lap that it just went, and the floodgates opened. That same year, well, not that same year, 2003. Thanks to Todd, I get to me and Francis both get to attend our first San Diego Comic Con, and again, just the world opens up. So, been a long journey to get here. Todd, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about your origin story, kind of how you got started in comics, and what has led you up to the point now where you're lettering so many books, the different projects you've worked on, etc. I know you recently had a big project you worked with Jim Valentino that got published last year.
Oh yeah, thanks. That was
Oh, you cut out, Todd.
what?
Oh, there you go. You cut out for a second.
Is it okay now?
Yes.
All right, cool. Yeah, that was the normal omnibus. We
Normal Man?
well,
You're chopping in and out a little bit with the sound.
Oh, maybe I should get like headphones or something. I don't know.
I don't know. It just it cuts like when you're going through a tunnel or something on your cell phone.
it's cutting out, huh?
A little bit. Not right this second. Right this second, it's going well, but it wasn't.
Right. That's all right. No, as I was saying, that was the Normal Man project. The original 12 issues of the Renegade series were recolored and relettered, and then released as a like 450 page omnibus hardcover oversized thing. So that was like a 1.5 year long project, which was really cool. And before that, he had me on Shadowhawk. So that was really fun to work with one of the original Image characters. So, but yeah, I started in comics in 1994. Harris Comics at the time was doing Vampirella, and they were thinking of relaunching Creepy and possibly Eerie, a couple of like horror anthology trademarks that they had at the time. Nothing really came of it, but I did get to go to a show on their bill, which was WonderCon 1994, when it was still up in Oakland. And
wow.
And wow, what an experience. And oddly enough, the Image booth was right across from the Harris booth, and every time I'd go out for a smoke break, Valentino was out there for a smoke break too. So we just started talking about music, and then he asked for my number. He said, "Hey, what do you do?" And I said, I write and I edit and whatever else I can. And yeah, he gave me a call and gave me a couple shots, and eventually I started working in the Shadowline office, where, gosh, I learned so much. Everything from how to work with the creators to the print houses up in Canada, and working with Diamond to get everything square for previews. Gosh, I learned so much. It was invaluable, the time I spent working for Shadowline. And I guess we met in 2000. You said,
yeah,
and and Francis was already working for UPW as well. So these guys were kind of like the veterans, veteran stage setup guys, and I was just this like greenhorn coming in because I was like a wrestling mark, and they needed more free work to be done.
Yeah,
Welcome to
I
wrestling,
remember.
kid.
Yeah,
But I mean,
UPW
even at
owner Rick Bassman used to say, "We're not low budget, we're no budget."
or no budget. But even there, right? The connections that we made, right, were invaluable. Not just the three of us, but gosh, like who else did we get to work with? Samoa Joe was doing graphic design at the time for The Office,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Christopher Daniels was one of the regulars. But it was there where I got probably my biggest break when RVD approached me and he said, "Hey, I'd like you to help me do my comic book Twisted Perception." So um, that was an awesome experience too, and that was finally released as a trade paperback. He self-published it, and then I think maybe some other small company might have picked it up since. But I learned a lot there too. But but gosh, I would say the whole journey has been pretty incredible. From just hanging out at like wherever we'd hang out at Denny's afterwards, talking about random ideas we wanted to do when we literally just saw prototype, aka John Cena, working like in a gym, right? Like with like five
yeah.
people watching his match. It's like, oh man. But I mean, if we only knew, right, at the time. But shoot, I've learned so much from just hanging out with you guys and networking with a lot of people. But yeah, so I think the journey has kind of come almost full circle for me. Like lettering was the last process that I never dove into. Well, actually, lettering and coloring, and now I'm finally getting to do coloring and lettering, which really has been such a blessing because again, I'm getting to meet a whole lot of new creators and that have been coming out and doing things not only through Kickstarter but like you're doing the Indiegogo and webtoons, whatnot. There's tons of
Yep.
comics being made right now. It's awesome.
It's pretty incredible how things went from, oh my God, how in the hell do we get anything made? How does that work at all? How do we break through? How do we get in as a writer, this, that, the other, to now the democratization of technology opening up the floodgates. I know Winston, you've got a bail shortly, probably around 2:30. So wanted to talk to you real quick. I came to you with a friend of mine some years ago looking for logo work on a project. I saw some of your work and was just blown away. And then you did uh, this incredible variant cover for us for Jaundice that I'm going to show in a minute. Can you talk to us about your start? How did you get involved in all this, and what brought you to the point you're at right now?
Yeah, so I always like telling stories and I always like drawing, so why not merge the two? Then I had a high school teacher that introduced me to Vertigo and Image Comics, and from there I was locked in, meeting my favorite creators, trying to tell my own stories, and I've just been part of the industry ever since. And I'm a graphic designer in my day job, so I thought, why not like move that passion into or my job into my passion, and I get to design comics, and I eventually got hired at Oni Press, where I work now as a graphic designer.
That's awesome. Oni is one of my longtime favorite independent comic publishers. As I mentioned earlier, this incredible logo you did for Jaundice, and Winston, like you've got a similar quality about you that Chris has and that Camry has, and I feel like this can't possibly be how it just goes when you're trying to make projects. I feel like I must have like gotten particularly fortunate and lucky because it's like two or three passes. It's like here's the idea and the concept. Here's a couple of ideas, reference ideas, and then like it's you guys just get it. It's like intuitive almost. You really nailed the logo on this. When I told you about the project and kind of what we were looking for, um, like what informed you kind of really being able to get the gist and the vibe of what we were going for with Jaundice?
Uh, It's been a bit since I designed that, but I believe you just came with like great reference, and you told me exactly what you needed. And I mean, any designer can tell you that's the dream client.
That's awesome. I want to go ahead. I'm going to try. This is my first live stream, y'all. So bear with me here. I want to try to show um, the variant cover. This is going to be the first time that Todd has seen this, and this is relevant because one of the 4 titles, the founding 4, aside from the Massacre Twins and Jaundice, which we have been talking about, is a title called Meat Farm. While I'm looking for this variant cover, because I'm so excited for you to see it, Todd, why don't you tell us a little bit about Meat Farm, kind of the origin of it, and kind of what it's about?
So I had gotten back into comics in 2010 and started Snug Comics and published a few books. And my buddy Dan and I were exhibiting at Long Beach, and we just started talking about this idea about hey, what if people started cultivating people to eat for certain graphics or whatnot. But this actually came from I had this idea a long time ago. Like there was a movie in the 80s called Xtro, XCRO, and there's a scene in there that has been lifted and it's been turned into a meme. And people are all saying that it's a real picture of a skinwalker, and it passes like on podcasts and all this shit for this. And I'm like, that's absolutely ridiculous. So this is an homage to Xtro too. I kind of was like, hey, there has to be this scene where this happens, and it is exactly what happens in Xtro. And but Dan and I, we never really got it off the ground. Unfortunately, we had some ideas for a script. I wrote a really loose script, and I sent it to an artist named Federico Zumel, who was just getting off of the Fenny Farthing press project. What was that? It was called, I think it was called Para by Penny Farthing Press. He was just getting off that. He came on board, did the pencils for Meat Farm, and Liza Buenaventura did the coloring. But I still really didn't have any dialogue to go with the story that was on paper. I kind of had an idea, but it really wasn't until you said you would take control of writing the script and making the story flesh out, Josh. And I'm really stoked with what you've done. And I when you sent me back the script and I was able to start lettering the few pages, that was awesome, man, because it had been in the can for like 10 years, literally.
I'm super stoked to work on it. I loved the artwork just because it was so different than what I've seen, in other books, and it's part of the reason why I love independent comics so much. You get such different styles. Here's the Meat Farm logo as designed by Todd, and then some of the artwork that we mentioned in here. A real kind of throwback to like 70s, 80s kind of horror, sci-fi, thriller type of deal. The kids in the little town of Rib Tip start coming up missing, and you see the jaundice one, but that's the one on the other side. And the meatpack plant in town may be to blame. A little bit of a send up of Soylent Green also, but before Winston goes here, I'm so excited to show this, Todd. I don't think you've seen this yet.
Yeah, I have.
See if this is the right one. This is the right one. Okay. Here is the variant cover for Meat Farm. I just showed you guys the original cover for Meat Farm. This is going to be the cover for the standard edition available on the Indiegogo. The standard cover for Meat Farm. Here is the variant cover for Meat Farm. Holy smokes. Can you guys see it?
That's rad.
Loading. Oh, nice.
That is totally rad.
Dude.
Who did that?
That was
really
Winston.
cool.
Winston Cameron.
Whoa.
Hey,
Good job, Winston.
That's so sick, Winston. That's awesome.
thank you so much.
Dude,
Oh,
I
it's
totally nailed it again. Like
Yeah.
we kind of went back and forth on the idea. It took like one pass, and it was good to
That-
go.
But yeah, that was really fun. I'm really happy with how that turned out. That was a great concept, and yeah, it was great working with you on that. Also, I should probably mention I'm a vegetarian, so this was pretty fun.
Well, that was beyond me. That was in the
yeah,
backing. So.
not okay.
It's like it
So,
could
yeah, an
be.
incredible.
Oh, sorry.
What's
So
that?
it looks like one of those things I'd go to like the old, like a mom and pop video store, like when I was like a kid, and go in the horror section, and I would see that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like the reminds me of the band Cow Decapitation. Like it'd be a cover for them or an EP or something.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, as us wrestling marks would say, huge pop. Like when I got that back, I was so excited to show you that, Todd. That's gonna be available on.
Yeah, I had no idea when you said you were getting like covers done. I'm like, okay, cool. I can't wait to see it. And then like everybody gets busy, and it's nice to circle back and really see like, oh my god, that is so badass. But everybody's doing badass, man. Like I congratulations on getting the Wonder Twins done to all of you guys. That's so awesome. And Camry, I really enjoyed lettering over your art.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you guys, between Camry's art and Todd, your lettering, I mean, it's just such a dynamite book. Before Winston goes, since we're all here for this purpose, I know Winston's got it out at like 2:30, which is just about now. I want to go ahead and do the damn thing that we all came here to do. I am going to launch this Indiegogo campaign. You see, we have a massive funding goal of $500. Ideally, trying to keep it within reason so that we can make that goal right away. Because I want to pop this thing and reach the goal, and then hopefully they throw us into to some of the recommendeds and whatnot. So 3, 2, 1, and boom! Let's go. Launching.
Yay.
Launching. And we are live. Ultima Comics
There we go.
presents Founding 4. How
Yay.
about that?
Yeah. Yay.
So, so what would you like to share on Facebook? I mean, at some point, yes, probably, but I would like to go to the campaign and show y'all a little bit about the campaign. Let me get over here.
Oh, probably not now.
What do you mean?
Oh no, it says click not now.
Click not now. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I'm going to a different screen. It's fine.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. And boom, we are live. Let me go to a different deal here. Stop screen, present. Not doing too bad for a first timer. Let's see. Is that it? Yep. Boom. Founding 4, live and ready to go. So what we have in the Founding 4, we kept it really simple. I had a bunch of ideas for different merchandise and stuff that we could do, but decided for the first one out, we're just going to make it nice and easy for everybody. The Massacre Twins, number 1. That is the cover, which should be up there. Don't know why it's not, but whatever, that's cool. You can see the Massacre Twins right there. The primary cover, or the standard cover rather, be this guy here. The original cover for the Massacre Twins as created by Kristen King. That's right. The shadows there. Go back to this thing. Share screen. Okay. So that'll be the standard cover. Then the variant cover for this was done up by a good friend of ours who also we ended up meeting through the wrestling industry. An independent comic artist named Scott Lost. And Scott did the variant cover for the Massacre Twins. We have the original artwork here. It has been colored by Todd. But check that out. You'll notice that the silhouette in the background is a taco, because Massacre Twins loves tacos. Who doesn't? That's all. Tacos, as funny as it sounds, has been a reoccurring theme for all of us creators too. I think just about every time we get together with Todd for anything, we're off getting tacos.
Well, we just had
so super
tacos
excited.
yesterday.
Make that full screen.
What's that?
Can you show that in full screen, Josh?
Let me see. Maybe. Is it?
Because we still have like the original graphic up. And we put us a regular screen so they can see it.
Gotcha. Boom.
That's better.
And this is colored by Todd. So that is our variant cover for the Massacre Twins, number 1. Then do it. We have Jaundice number 1, and then the Jaundice. Let me find this real quick. I had it all here. The Jaundice variant cover is done by an amazing international artist named Helmut Racho. And yeah, it's going to take me just a second to set that up. Hold on. Back to Facebook. Just had it.
Hey, Chris.
Yes, please. Please chat it up while I get this on the screen. For sure.
Hey, Chris. I have a question.
I'm sorry?
Chris Faith.
Yeah, I got
Yes.
a question. Like, I really dig your coloring in here. What are you coloring in? Is this Photoshop or?
I'm using Procreate for everything.
Okay, yeah, it's cool, man.
Thank you, man.
Tried to send it. It wouldn't send it. Right again.
Should I show them the print too, Josh, that we had from Comic-Con?
Yeah, please do. Another creation by Kristen King, another full circle deal this past San Diego Comic-Con to celebrate. We were able to get her to do up a promotional print, which will also be a perk available in the Indiegogo. This was initially exclusively for the attendees at the Ultima Comics panel at San Diego Comic-Con, but we have an allotment that we're going to be able to make available for y'all. Let me see if this will let me share my screen with just my desktop.
So let me.
It may not.
This was this was the print. You can also see it also up on our Instagram, the Massacre Twins Instagram page. There we go. But yeah, this was done by Kristen King. I've been looking forward to. I've been using actually this one a lot now for a lot of the logos for for the profile pictures for social media stuff like that now with an updated version. I'm sorry, but I really want this jacket the way she designed it. I want this made in real life so I can wear it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so this is for the Massacre Twins. This is for this will be the 11x17 print that probably be included. Josh has it up on the Indiegogo, but I believe they'll be signed by us also, by me at least.
Yep.
All
Absolutely.
right. So I'll have to stock up on some Sharpies. But yeah, so that's the print. Hopefully, I'm looking to put this on a shirt. We're looking at the designs, how we're going to do it, but we want this print on a shirt. So be looking on the lookout for that a little bit later and later down the line. We have plans, trust me.
So Helmut Racho, international artist, did the variant cover for Jaundice, and here it is.
Oh, that's
so,
very cool.
Whoa.
So the story of Jaundice, and Chris, you've been such a great collaborator on this. The story of Jaundice is a failed punk rock frontman turned elementary school music teacher who also happens to be a bit of an alcoholic and is starting to pay the price for it. And he gets cajoled by a coworker into going to play for the launch party of a local privately funded citizen space program, the first rocket that they're shooting off into space to celebrate kind of a little bit of a SpaceX type of a deal. When all of a sudden a cataclysmic event happens and changes John Diss, JOHNDISS, forever, and he sets about to right the wrongs of the galaxy 3 chords at a time. Chris, when we were putting that book together, I remember there was a time where I stopped at page 24, I think it was, and because I felt like I was running out of resources, and you encouraged me. You said that the story kind of ended on a note which I totally agreed with, that was a little anticlimactic, and so we were able to push forward, get it to 34 pages, and get to the climactic point right at the end of issue 1 that is kind of reflected in this variant cover. How was that process for you, and how was, like, because you seem to just have a tune for the story itself, and your artwork also. I'm so excited to show. You came up with the idea because I initially saw your work in another a project, a preview of a project you're working on, a personal project that we'd love you to tell us about. But you came up with the idea that when John is doing his day-to-day and he's doing his school teachering, that it's got this art style that's fantastic in and of itself. But then when things kind of get real and the sort of dire nature of his situation kicks in, the art style changes a little bit and goes to this just vibrant, like, incredible, artwork that just, the style that kind of just grabs your attention and really changes the mood and sets the tone where the mood and the tone change in the story. Tell us a little bit about how you came to that idea, because when you did that, and also that project that you're working on that I first saw your art from, because the style you transition to when he's in the hospital and he's learning about his fate was kind of the style I first locked on when I first saw your work. And the fact that you were able to incorporate it in a way that helped propel the story, I was just thrilled by it.
I think it was multiple reasons why. I mean, I like to play with a bunch of different styles anyway. I like to think I can do a lot, at least, and be successful with different styles. But I think speed was one thing, because we wanted to get this thing banged out by San Diego, and I knew that if I could get a little bit looser on some of these heavy mood pages, and really kind of show sort of like, it's sort of like John sort of falling apart, and so the artwork gets really kind of crunchy and grungy and loose, and I think it just helps with the whole feel of what we were going for, and so it kind of worked out really good that I had to bust those out so quickly, and I was able to get a little scratchy.
Hey, that's the other thing I need to mention. It looks like we lost Todd. I don't know if he's going to jump back in. I'll message him in just a second. But
Did Josh freeze?
Yeah, I think he did.
Oh. Hi, Josh. Yeah, I think he did.
Frozen in time.
Wow. So, yeah. How's it going, guys? So we can talk a little more, I guess, while he's frozen in time, and yeah. Massacre Twins, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did... Whoops. Just lost my camera.
I wish I knew which project he was talking about of mine that he saw, because I'm not 100% sure.
It's a mystery now. Hey there, Josh?
Man.
Oh, no.
Sucks. Oh, now he's gone.
Oh,
wow.
completely now.
Just bring one by one.
All right,
It's
who
just
will-
us now.
Who's the highest ranking here?
All right, guys. We gotta come up with a prank plan for Josh now.
How about we
Secret
all just
plan.
freeze when he
Right.
gets back on? We just stand still. It's easy to
Yeah.
camera. We just all just like freeze frame
freeze frame
and
All
not
of
say
us are
anything for
frozen
like a
now.
minute.
You know, Francis, I'm actually curious where the idea came from for Massacre Twins.
Yeah, I think he's probably. We can do that one right now. So I started like it said 2010. I just started writing down a lot. Oh, everyone freeze frame.
I heard you,
So
Fran.
anyway, so started 2010. I just started after a Comic-Con. It was it's the mainstream media taken away from the independent media, Bryce. So I had just started writing after it was a kind of rough year for me, 2010. So I after Comic-Con, I started writing out a bunch of ideas, and also the name though came from I listen to this band, the Birthday Massacre, one of my favorite bands, and we have friends who'd always go. You know, he would have your concert friends. You'd go see him all the time. There's a group that they would kind of dress up similar, like to the theme. So one day, for another friend of mine, Clarissa, she was asking about it. Hey, were the Birthday Massacre twins going to be there? And I was like, I think so. You know, knowing who they're talking about. And then I was like, Birthday Massacre twin sounds kind of cool. So they got Birthday Massacre, someone gets sued. They have Massacre twins, and kind of based it on those two people they were talking about for a little when I first started, and then it just evolved into what we have here. There was a lot of evolution going on with, especially that story, because like I said, I threw everything down for an idea, and it's like it's gonna be this. Then you go, not this. This works. This can work, and became what we have in front of us now for Massacre Twins. And I was influenced a lot. I'd say before, I'm not influenced directly by comics, but comic elements. You know, like growing up, there's cartoons like like I said, Spider-Man, X-Men, that kind of thing. But grew up with like a lot of classic 80s, 90s action movies, some of those cheesy kung fu movies, Batman 66, of course, big part of my childhood. So that'd be on a lot, like almost every day on some channel. So there's elements of that. So that's where the origin of the concept came from. Characters, you know, that's the that'll be working on, but they were basically they're the last two survivors of an experiment from the post-apocalyptic West Coast. So they now are doing, you know, helping, trying to clean up as best they can the criminal element with their help of their.
Bye, Anthony.
Bye, Anthony.
Oh, Anthony left. He told me he had a heart out at 2:45.
Wow, he's like, I got to do it. 45. I'm very punctual. So they have they saw Alex, who comes from the speaker box, which we may have some more of that later about their origins. But now that they were kind of dealing with just usual little robberies, that kind of thing, and now we have heroes. I call them. They said superheroes. I'm starting to call them villains with gimmicks. So that's what we have first.
Like the old school Batman series, Batman 66.
Yeah. Just like that, yeah. It's very fun, very tongue in cheek. I always wanted. I mean, at the time, again, it was if you read it, my original story I had for them, it was very dark, very edgy, and it didn't feel like it was. It didn't feel like it was me. So I wanted to do something that would be more akin to the personality that I do have.
You were just mentioning yesterday that your initial concept for this had zombies in the element, right? Because you first thought this up back when the zombie craze was going on.
Yeah, we had that because we just saw Shaun of the Dead yesterday for that 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
And just saying that, but it felt like after that, I was like, it feels like one thing I'm trying to do is not make it have to be a product of that time, so it doesn't date itself. I'm like, oh, that feels so dated. But again, we can work ways into it. But if it feels like it can fit, it can fit.
Cool.
Yeah. That's a short story.
Yeah, I was in the process of saying right before I got bounced in regards to the two artists, Chris and Camry, on these first two books, that as much as Chris, I appreciate you saying that putting over that having somebody giving clear direction on what they're looking for and stuff is the ideal client that you want to work for. The flip side of that is I didn't do you guys any favors by being like, hey, can you do 30 pages in a month or whatever it was?
Yeah, a month. 10 days.
Yeah, right. The first time, for both times, I think I'm going is there a chance this can be done in a week and a half? So
before you froze up, Josh, Chris is wondering what that project was you saw of his that kind of caught your attention. I think
it's the one that you've been working on. You had a 5
Wild Waste.
Wild Waste, yeah. Was going to see if you wanted to tell us about that, because that was the first thing I saw of yours when I was like, whoa,
that's been that's been sort of on the drawing board since about 2010, and it's just it started with my original co-creator with Hero Happy Hour, Dan Taylor, and he's doing other things now, and I said I want to keep doing something with this. I've actually started taking my script pages because I've got about 60 to 80 pages of comic script, and I'm rewriting it as prose, so I may put it out as like a novella or something like that, so I don't have to draw so many pages, and I can work
I'd be
like
ashamed
getting
because
paid.
your artwork is fantastic.
I'm going to do something. I don't know if you ever saw like the old like Tarzan or whatever kind of books. We had a bunch of them on my grandparents' bookshelves, and it'd be mostly prose, but then you'd have like this double-page spread of artwork. It was just beautiful.
Oh yeah.
And I'll maybe do something like that. Throw a few images inside of the prose. That'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. I've always liked when I see that kind of a blending of mediums and styles. Like there's a book that her name was Ave Rose, I think. I wish I could remember the publisher, but she made these little digest books, and they were prose books, but then they had illustrations like thrown throughout. So it wasn't like all paneled out necessarily. It was like there'd be a page that had the illustration and then like the little bit of prose woven into it. I always thought that was fun.
You ever see a Quixote by Michael Oming and Brian Glass? Something like that.
Yeah, I love me some Michael Oving. Looks like Bryce had to go. Thanks, Bryce. Appreciate you. Sorry, John. Anthony had to bail before we were able to get him to show his kitty cat to you, but we got to see him for a little bit.
It's a very cute cat.
Yeah.
What's the dog's name?
Dog's name is Rosie.
Oh, very
That's right.
cute.
I don't know why I always forget you have a dog, Fran.
I don't know. I know. I don't know. Well, she's kind of quiet, which is weird.
Yeah, this is weird. Wait, is she a Chihuahua?
Yeah, she's a Chihuahua. Like, she'll get noisy though. She goes outside for a walk, and she sees other dogs. Then she gets all like protective and that kind of thing.
He's
Yeah.
also super affectionate. Like, that shocked me. I used to go to Fran's house, and the dog he had before, even though it was the size of a shoe, acted like it wanted to kill me. Oh, now John says, "Show the dog."
Now that she left and went to the too early, but she went to the living room.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's too hot in here.
I have two little Chihuahuas, and I had to have my sister take them during the stream because one of them likes to bark at anything and everything. So I was like, I don't think you guys want to be hearing my dog screaming in the background. So
Yeah,
they're
his,
very cute, but very loud.
His old dog would always try to kill me whenever I came over, and then now this dog, he just can't get enough love. So we Todd had to bail, it looks like, on Meat Farm, but Meat Farm we showed that amazing variant from Winston Gambro and the initial cover done by Todd. Talked a little bit about that, and then the final four of the founding four, Space Goblins. Unfortunately, Ams Overton couldn't join us. He's the creator of Space Goblins. He's based in Dubai, and a good friend of mine for about 10 years or so. An incredible artist. You can see the art style here on the screen of like the cover, which I can also show. Knocking stuff over. Show a little bit better, not only version of the cover, but a full screen of some of his awesome artwork. Space Goblins. Get this back to full screen real quick. Space Goblins started off as an animation, which I don't know if you can still find on YouTube, because I think it's being distributed on DVD by SRS Distribution here in the States. But started off as about a 30-minute animated short, kind of a farce with a dry, almost European, say, sense of humor about two hapless space bounty hunters who get ejected from the bounty hunting corps that they're a part of, and set about the universe, not only continuing to try to exact justice in their own way, but to clear their names so that they can get back in the corps. When we say justice in their own way, what we mean is, whereas the corps is going after murderers and thieves and arsonists and stuff, Gib and Gob, because of their ardent belief in justice in all forms are going after people who are speeding and parking tickets and things like that, which is what got him bounced out of the core. You can see a little bit more of the sort of grotesque uh, art style of Ams Overton, the underground art style. He exhibited a bunch. 10 years ago, when I met him, he was out here exhibiting paintings in some of the galleries here in Hollywood. Well, here I'm in San Diego now. In Hollywood, like the Hyena Gallery, and then we have a splash page there teasing stuff that's to come in that first issue. He is currently working on the artwork. The distance and the sometimes difficulty in communications. We'd hope to have the artwork done so that I could have a preview of it done by Comic Con this past year, also, but just wasn't able to happen. But he's working on that now and looking to get that finished by the end of the year. Meat Farm is finished, I should mention, and that's one of the things that is important. Note, one of the things we did deliberately at Ultima before we launched this crowdfunding campaign was we wanted to show everybody bidding or pledging that when they show their support, they don't have to worry about something like some of the other crowdfunding campaigns they might have backed, where somebody puts up an idea for a story, maybe they put up a couple pages of artwork, they get a bunch of pledges, it pledges successfully, and then they take the funds and you never see the books. The books never get done. We have 2 of the books absolutely completed right now. The Massacre Twins is complete. Jaundice is complete. These are our test issues that we printed, kind of like a test pressing of a record from a record label. The test pressings that are in limited supply, and part of the funds that we're looking to raise with this crowdfunding campaign are going to be going to doing a full print run of the first pressing and getting those out to people. This is the preview comic we brought to Comic-Con last year.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Founding Four, which highlighted the Massacre Twins' first 8 pages, Jaundice's first 8 pages, Meat Farm's first 4 or 5 pages, I think it was, and then some preview artwork in the back from Space Goblins. Also, to note, might have noticed that the second to last page of the preview comic featured this nice movie-looking-ish poster of the Space Goblins. That is because in addition to doing the artwork and finishing the artwork to complete issue 1 of Space Goblins, Ams Overton is in the process of pre-production on the feature film adaptation of Space Goblins over in Dubai, which is incredible that he's being able to pull this off, because aside from being an amazing artist, he's creating all of the effects, all of the characters and whatnot with practical elements. He's using some CG for background and whatnot, but if you see if he was able to jump on, you would see the background of his room, kind of like how Francis and I have all our stuff in the background. Ams is giant, like movie quality rubber masks of the Massacre Twins and all of these characters and all of these like
Really?
gnarly Escape from New York, Mad Max type weaponry that he's created for
using
it.
Using examples, like, wait, we have Massacre Twins masks?
No, not yet,
Okay.
but those could come.
Okay.
Yeah,
Whoa,
so we're super
you've been
excited
working on
about
it behind my
Space
back.
Goblins because the adaptation from that animation has been a long time coming as well, and adds just a fun element. It's really a pretty funny story. It's more of a character driven thing, a little bit out there as far as something you might see the animation style and story wise in like a Spike and Mike's twisted sick and twisted animation type of festival type of thing. So that is the 4th title, and then the variant cover he's got on his plate as well. Amazing creative in Ams Overton. Follow Mega City Media, which is his brand that he runs out of the Dubai. He's partnered with a bunch of independent filmmakers to get their independent horror and sci-fi films pressed onto physical media and distributed worldwide. So we're super excited to be teaming up with Ams as well. Want to show y'all, now that we're a little ways into this, let me share my screen again. And in addition, I should have finished telling you about the perks. So we've got The Massacre Twins issue 1, the variant cover, as arted by Scott Lost. Jaundice issue 1, the variant cover as arted by Winston Gambro. Meat Farm number 1, Meat Farm variant cover as arted by Helmut Racho. Space Goblins 1 and the variant. And then logo t-shirts. All of these amazing masthead logos created by the likes of Winston and uh, Rachel Picard and Ams Overton. We will have on various t-shirts for y'all. And then combinations. The number 1 and the t-shirt or the Ultimate Completionist bundle. All of the covers, all of the t-shirts, everything that we've got. We also have scripts available. Hey, look at that. We're at $85. 17% of our funding with 2 different backers. So that's fantastic. We're almost 20% of the way there. That's incredible in the first hour. In addition to what you see here, if you get, for example, the number 1 with the t-shirt, that's going to be the standard cover with the t-shirt. And then if you wanted to add the variant cover, that's available as an add-on. In addition to scripts, we have the actual physical scripts and also in digital form that you'd be able to add on after you make your pledge. So we got it going on, finally. A long time coming here with the crowdfunding campaign. Chris and Camry, I wanted to give everybody the chance to, but just time crunch hits us all to tell us a little bit about some more of your guys' work outside of Ultima Comics, and tell us what you're working on now, starting with Camry. I know you're working on an original concept of your own, in addition to probably some other books.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been working on a bunch of other indie comics. I'm still doing Death Knell with Bad Bug Media, but it's now a monthly comic series that only appears on their Patreon for now. I'm also working on my own project, George Smith, which I did try to get funded this year, but it wasn't successful, so I'm going to try again in March of next year. And then otherwise, recently I've been working on a whole bunch of original artwork, and I've also been working with my sister on some concepts for little zines. Yeah, other than that, it's just been a whole bunch of commission work and working my butt off. So, but yeah, I mean, whoever's watching, I hope you check me out. Any support or shares or anything is always appreciated, because being an artist can be hard, but it's a work of passion and I love doing it. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the big things with Ultima is, like I mentioned earlier, when Todd kind of kicked the door open for me for comics in general, it was independent comics that grabbed me. And even before I met Todd, when I was in the comic shops, kind of bypassing a lot of the Marvel and DC stuff, not all of it, it was books from labels like Chaos Comics and Brian Pulido, who grabbed me with Lady Death and Evil Ernie and a bunch of those fantastic characters. And then over the course of the 20 plus years we've been going to Comic-Con, there's been a definite change, not only in the technology that we can use and the advent of the internet to be able to reach talents like Helmut Racho overseas or Ams Overton in Dubai, but also in just being able to figure out how to do this stuff. Francis and I are fortunate enough to be on a panel every year at Comic-Con. Our good friend Rick Offenberger at First Comics News, how to get news coverage. And one of the things that we always tell people, everybody in the audience practically has some sort of project that is either finished or they're working on or they have an idea for. They want to know how to get the word out about it. And one of the things we tell them is things like writing a press release, putting together an electronic press kit. Those are things where you might have once upon a time gone, how do I do that? But now you can just Google it. How do I write a press release? Proper press release format. And boom, it's right there for you. When I first started going, me and Francis started going to Comic-Con in 2003, there was no paneling, no programming whatsoever about being writers, how to break in, editing, anything like that. It was all showcases and some of the bigger publishers telling you about what was coming up next. Now it's evolved to where half of the programming over the weekend at San Diego Comic-Con is how to do this, how to do that, how to write a script, how to, all of this stuff. So that's saying all that to say that independent creators and independent comics, not that we don't have love for Marvel and DC, we do. We're huge fanboys. And I mean, I think I've seen Deadpool and Wolverine about 3 times in the theaters now. But there's a special place in our heart for independent creators, which is owing to the consulting arm of Ultima Comics. So we've been there. We've been independent creators with an idea, and that idea paired with the frustration of not knowing what to do with that idea or how to make that idea come to life. And so now, over all those years, we've got, that'd be people like Anthony who joined us, and Todd who have this experience. Anthony didn't get a chance to say much, but he was editing with IDW for a period of time. We've got people who've written scripts now, people who are writers in different areas, business people who can tell you how to protect your trademark and protect your copyright, and to set up your LLC and to set up your stores and whatnot. And then, of course, incredible artists like Chris Face and Camry Lapka, who, despite how immensely talented they are, maybe 10 years ago would have had a much harder time trying to break through, because the independent side hadn't gotten to where it is now, and the gatekeepers were still keeping those doors pretty well shut. We're looking to kick those doors right the hell down, because there's so much talent and so much just great work, the independent creators' imagination, and it's needed. I mean, new ideas, new ways of expressing those ideas, and that's what excites us at Ultima Comics. So
we appreciate that, Josh.
We appreciate you, immensely. The artwork and the different styles. One of the things I'm particularly proud of with these 4 books, they're kind of different in story. They're very different in art style. Very diverse, but all fun. I mean, I think that, not to toot our own horn, but toot. Gonna check one more time here on the crowdfund. We're pushing up just after 3 o'clock. $120, 25%, almost of the way there in the first hour.
Yeah.
With only 3 backers. I looked in the back end. Our 3 backers. Thank you very much. But the people who backed in the back end, even, it doesn't, it looks like we had some people who didn't even get pledges. They just donated to help the cause. So
That's
special
cool.
place in whatever heaven you believe in for those of you who.
One
who
thing
jumped
too, Josh. One thing this will help fund is last week I just submitted to you the script for the 2nd issue of Massacre Twins.
That's
So,
right. Camry,
look out
hear that? It's coming.
Yeah. This one's shorter this
time.
time, though. We're lucky.
It took us a while to get the first one. I mean, from the first time we had Camry do the first 8 pages for the first preview comic that we did last year, I believe it was, and another one of those instances where, hey, Camry, it's July. It's the first week of July. Comic-Con's in 2 weeks. Can you? And she did it. She nailed it with enough time for us to get him to show him at the panel right up against it. But man, she came through.
It literally came with that Thursday.
Yeah. And then this year, not as bad, I don't think, but still kind of a crunch. Hey, can you do these amount of pages in this short amount of time? And got him in enough time to get the issue number 1 printed. And so issue 2 on its way. Now that number 1's here, we got the Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign.
That's on the title now? Or should we let them touch on the title of it, or should we wait?
Go for it. Yeah,
This
it's
issue
right here on the live stream. The title for issue number 2 of the Massacre Twins. The Massacre Twins :
D's Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
So I always love that movie, Big Trouble in Little China. I'm like, how can I need to work that title into something, and so I found a way. That title will be called D's Trouble in Little China.
Yeah, another influence on the Massacre Twins, tonality-wise, for sure. Big Trouble in Little China.
Thank you, John
Escape
Carpenter.
from New York, Batman '66, cartoons in general.
Yeah, I don't think all of them. I think you're also going to ask Chris about his artwork too. I think before we jumped into that.
Yeah. Well, I asked him about
Wild
Wild Waste, and then you work with so many other artists too, Chris. What is it you have working on currently, and anything that you want to hype people up about?
I think he has his mic off.
Can you hear us, Chris? I'm not sure you can hear us. Let me see if I can
I think something in the chat.
do them in chat. Yeah.
Crazy-
Lag and choppy audio.
So yeah, well, we
All
talk
right.
until he gets it up. We can. You want to talk a little more? But yeah.
Yeah. So issue 1 of the Massacre Twins came out at about 34 pages. You said the script for issue 2 is a little bit shorter, probably going to be closer to a standard comic size. Another thing for anybody watching who might want to back the crowdfunding campaign to note, all of the issues are priced at $15. Some people who aren't familiar with the crowdfunding landscape might be like, wow, a comic book in the store is, $6 or whatever it is. Why is it $15? Well, for one, I mean, we don't have the kind of backing that like Marvel and DC and Dark Horse and Image and all those guys have, but also 34-page comic, man. This is almost a super size comic, like one of those from back in the day.
And
both of them, Massacre Twins and Jaundice.
I do have one down the line that is going to be probably a 2-parter. So
yeah.
Sorry,
so ultimately, I think with the scripts we have loosely worked out, the outlines anyway for the Massacre Twins going forward, we have with the one that's going to be 2 parts, probably about 5 to 6 issues. At which point, and now that we've kind of popped the cherry, so to speak, on Ultima Comics and these first 4, definitely those next ones, issue 2, 3, 4, won't take as long. The idea being with Massacre Twins anyway, when we get those 4 or 5 stories done, then we compile it into a nice compendium. So long-term plans with that, long-term plans with all of these. Jaundice, 34 pages to start with. I don't know that issue 2 will be as long. I'm currently working on that now. It looks like Space Goblins issue 1 will be about 24 pages.
And I will definitely, once people who do buy it, I will definitely sign them for you. So
yeah. And Meat Farm will be a regular size 24 pages also. So, Chris, any luck on your audio? How's it coming? Still having trouble?
I've only heard maybe like the last 3 seconds of that.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead about his project.
We were mainly vamping.
I have. No, my internet is garbage here. I'm in Alabama, so what do you expect?
Well, what we were saying before your audio kicked out was just what you might be working on right now, a little bit more of some of your projects and anything you're excited about sharing with the audience outside of the Ultima Comics universe. He's a man of mystery. That's okay. We'll get him on another
I can't
call.
hear nothing.
No, that's okay. That's okay. We're good. We're probably wrapping up here in a minute anyway. We're a little over an hour. I know Camry has a party she needs to get to. I have a call I need to get on in about 20 minutes. But before we do...
I got a nap to take.
He's got a nap to take.
Yeah.
We'll take one last look. Go right ahead.
I'll say hopefully one day soon, Camry, we can see you at either WonderCon or Comic-Con with us to join us on one of these panels.
Yeah, I would love to. It's a little difficult to make it down to California, but one of these days we'll get it.
We're determined to get you down here for at least San Diego next year. WonderCon might be a little tight, but we're planning some big stuff for San Diego, some offsites and a little bit of after party type stuff, and we've got to have Camry Lapka there. The brilliant.
And maybe I can drag Kristen out. I can drag Kristen up from. She's all the way up, like the San Bernardino area, for if you guys know, in California. Which from where I am in Orange County, that's like 80 miles.
Yeah,
it's like going to San Diego, but the opposite way.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully we can all see us in person as like the conglomerate,
Yeah,
one day.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys.
We go
Yeah,
up there for a convention.
Yeah, if you guys ever come up to Seattle or Emerald City or anything, I applied for a table next year, but we'll see because they haven't approved my application for the last 2 years, so I'm like, I don't know if I'll get in, but I guess we'll see. But if you do end up in the area, I'd love to meet up with you.
Yeah. definitely. I mean, Seattle's been one of our goals too, to go up there for Emerald City.
Well, Bryce, who was in the chat earlier, he was based down here in Southern California and moved up to Seattle just last year, and so definite talks about us getting up there for Emerald City Comic Con.
It'll be old school Comic Con again up there if we do that.
Yeah, it sure will.
He was there where we first stayed at him and our friend Brian's apartment for Comic Con. So.
Well, I'm going to do one last check of the old till. It's Labor Day weekend, so in the spirit of the Jerry Lewis Labor Day Telethon,
I don't even pop.
Tiffany, and let's see. Looks like, hang on, we'll do a little refresh.
120 still. We're 120!
Yeah, 120.
That's
you know what?
Jerry Lewis.
To be 25% of the way, it says 24, but I'm going to count it as 25. To be 25% of the way to our goal at 500 in the very first hour here on the live stream, Ultima Comics presents the Founding Four. I'm perfectly happy with it. I'm super stoked, and a big thank you to those of you who threw in some shekels to support us. We hope you continue to, and we hope you continue to follow along to the progress of Ultima Comics. We're on all the socials at Ultima Comics, Ultima_Comics. Ultima Comics _. You know how it goes. Before we log off, Fran, Camry, any parting words for our beloved audience?
Well, thank you for watching, and thank you for supporting indie comics and being passionate about it. We need more people to love comics in the world, in my opinion.
I fully agree.
And one thing I have to say, too, we're not using AI for anything. I need to point that out.
Yeah.
We don't authentic artists.
We are AI. We're authentic artists.
I struggled for my artwork.
Yep.
Exactly. All authentic art, all authentic artists here at Ultima Comics.
Authentic people.
Authentic people. Absolutely.
Yeah. But you can also find Massacre Twins Instagrams. It's just the Massacre Twins. I do some stuff on Twitter sometimes, but most of my stuff right now is just on Instagram. So probably follow. That's the best one to follow is the Massacre Twins. And then I don't want to. Maybe do TikTok. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe we get more issues going. But I do want.
Where can I find you personally on the socials?
They do it. Yeah, we can do that.
Put them on the spot.
Just my Instagram on there is just Viva La Franzig. Viva La Fran Zig. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you see a lot of pictures of my dog on there and a lot of other stuff. But also, I was trying to think. Also, themassacretwins.com. There is a website. We still have those.
There you go.
We'd update that, but I'm also going to try and get, for those who are not able to get a copy of the issue or anything like that, I'm going to try and put up weekly a page for the first issue coming soon, and have that so people can read it week by week and follow and go, oh my god, what's going to happen? You know.
Yeah, that's a funny thing too. The initial concept was that this was going to roll out as a webcomic, one page a week, and then we just went, F it, we're just going to go ahead and do it legitimate style and then go backward.
Yeah, we're going to archive it, we'll archive it, make the comic, and then do the thing. No, we're with the other way now. So,
Gary, where can everybody find you and take a look at your artwork if they want to potentially pay you large sums of money for your incredible talent?
That sounds fantastic, first off. But you can find me, my website is CamryLapkaArt.com. I'm on most social media platforms as Kron Kruick. But yeah, that's the hub for everything. So if you need to find me, that's where you'll go.
Tremendous. Well, guys, appreciate everybody who joined us, everybody who had to dip, you guys for sticking it out, all the viewers, whoever is still watching, those of you who supported and continue to support Ultima Comics, ultimacomics.com, and everywhere on the socials. Make mine Ultima, because independent is the new mainstream. And so Ultima Comics is here to push that forward. Great stream, kiddos, despite a dramatic lack of Fran's dog from John Sharp.
She was up there a couple times. I mean,
appreciate you guys. Guys, we'll see you next time. Stay tuned. Ultima Comics.
Thank you, everybody.
See you guys. Thank you so much.
Guys.
That was good. Ugh.